What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of my Next Gen Career Mode. I do believe this is episode number 74, but today, guys, we do have the Champions League final with Hertha Berlin against Real Madrid. So yes, here we are in our second season in the Champions League, and in our third season overall, we've reached the final. That is pretty goddamn amazing progression, isn't it? And yeah, as per usual with the finals, we do live commentaries, so this is going to be live, obviously. I don't know why I just needed to clarify that. But yeah, we are taking on Real Madrid. And to be honest, just want to make sure the audio is fine. To be honest, I'm relatively... I want to say that I am balanced when it comes down to optimism and pessimism here. But this is one of the first finals I've ever done in a career mode where I would say our team is probably the underdog, you know, because usually we build amazing sides on career mode, and this side's fine, isn't it? Yeah, it's fine. Usually, you know, we build amazing sides, and we have done here. This side is really, really good, and there's no reason why we can't win the Champions League. But you'll see Real Madrid's side in just a moment. It is most likely going to be considered a favourite. So I feel as though we could win. You know, don't get me wrong, but I do know it's going to be a massive, massive ask for us. But anyway, two perfect penalties there. Let's get into the questions, and as per usual in the live commentaries, I do ask for questions, and you can ask me questions on Twitter. My Twitter's @.clanders. All my social media stuff is in the description. So open it up for some goodies. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. All those social media stuff is in the description. So if you want to ask me questions and get involved, the reason I really like doing live commentary questions in the finals is because I can get you guys involved. It's very hard as a FIFA YouTuber that does career mode to get you guys involved in this series. But, you know, other than doing straw polls to let you guys choose the new teams, there's not much I can really do. But that's why I like doing Q&As, because it means that if we ever reach the final, you guys can get involved. But, yeah, if you do want to ask me a question, you can ask me on Twitter @.clanders. And I do recommend following me on Twitter anyway, because I do post there every day. And a link to my video gets posted every day as well, so you'll never miss a video if you follow me on Twitter, because the link always gets posted seconds after the video goes up. But let's take a look at Real Madrid's team real quick before we get into the actual questions when it comes up. Oh, Lasogga, big night for him. 6 months at Real Madrid, how's he going to do? Okay, they got Neuer in goal, back for Carvajal, Varane, Ramos and Marcelo. Timofeev, is that the Russian holding mid? Khedira and Iliamendi. Ronaldo on the left, Bale on the right, and Rooney up top. So yeah, really good side. Our team can compete with that, but that is a really, really awesome side. But yeah, I do recommend following me on Twitter @.clanders, and yeah, you can get involved with the questions. And I read a comment actually. For me, it's the 15th of July. It's the morning of Tuesday morning, 15th of July. I put a live commentary up on Saturday evening, and I read some of the comments from people saying, "Why do you always get the same questions and the ones that we don't want to hear the answers to?" And I remember sitting there thinking, you do realise that you can ask the questions yourselves. You know, if you don't like the questions, then ask one that you prefer to see answered. But anyway, yeah. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. It is highly recommended. I don't tweet 1,000 times a day, and you can get a link to my video every time it gets posted, so you'll never miss a video. And yeah, let's get into the final. I am, like I said, relatively pessimistic, but also there is some optimism in here as well. So hopefully we can cause a shock and go on to win the Champions League. But even if we don't, I still am probably going to stay as Hertha Berlin manager, because I really do want to win the Champions League with them. You know, I'll feel like I've left the project unfinished if we don't win the Champions League. But anyway, let's get down to the questions. And as per usual, guys, a big thank you for everyone that asks questions. Obviously, I can't answer them all because I get loads, but I do appreciate every question that gets asked, and I do try and answer as many as possible. And if I can't answer your question, I do apologise, but thank you very much for all the questions, and also for the support on the series as on the whole. As I said, today, this is episode number 74, I do believe. That's quite a lot of episodes, it really is. So thank you so much for making this series possible, I guess, because of course without you guys I wouldn't be posting on YouTube. So you're my everything. So thank you very much for that. And yeah, let's get on to the questions. So the first question comes from Rodney, and he says, "I like your FIFA videos a lot, thank you very much. What kind of editing software do you use for your videos?" I use Game Capture HD to capture and also do the basic cropping of the highlights, and to actually make the projects I use iMovie. I know some people are always laughing, or not laughing, but find it odd when they hear me say that I use iMovie, but the reason I use iMovie is because it's just really simple and really easy to use. So yeah, those are the two I use. Henry says, "What's it like to support a team that aren't so highly ranked?" Oh, thanks very much. Oh, come on, Young. How on earth, thank you, Ter Stegen. How on earth are you getting out muscled by Ronaldo so easy? That was weak, man, seriously. You need to get a gym. Um, yeah, supporting Millwall. It's got its ups and downs, mostly downs. But, yeah, supporting Millwall is okay. The one positive about supporting a club that isn't, like a really prestigious club is that you feel more connected to the club. You really do. You may not feel involved in any way, but you certainly feel more connected. If you support a big club, I would imagine that if you support, I think you support Arsenal actually. I recognise your name. If you support someone like Arsenal or United or Chelsea, whatever, with such a massive fan base, such a worldwide fan base, you probably feel as though you sort of get lumped in with the masses. But supporting a club like Millwall, which yes, of course, has tens and probably hundred thousands of fans, you still feel as though you're sort of more connected to the club and it's more your own, if you know what I mean. So I guess that's sort of perk of it, really. And there you go. But it's got obviously a lot of downs. It really does. It's got quite a lot of negatives, and obviously the games on the weekends may not be as exciting as if you're in the Premier League. For example, taking on Huddersfield away isn't as glamorous as taking on United at home, but even so, it's still got its ups and downs. It's got its perks here and there, but yeah, there you go. Next question comes from FIFA Dude HD. He says, "Who do you think Liverpool should sign to replace Suarez?" Do you know what? Oh, that's simple to say. Do you know what? I'm gonna tell a quick story here. This is actually the second attempt at doing this live commentary because I was doing this live commentary earlier, only to find out I forgot to switch my microphone on. That's the second time that's happened in this series, or in this year at least. And I was doing this live commentary, and it wasn't until the second half of the second half of the game when I realised I didn't have my microphone switched on the live commentary feature. And I answered this question, and I actually felt a little bit. In a way, I'm glad that I didn't actually get to use the footage from that because at the end of the day, I was winning, by the way. So don't worry, I'm not just doing it because I was losing. I was winning the game 3-0 actually. When I answered the question, I was actually a little bit relieved that I'm not going to be able to use that footage because I actually said something which was a little bit, harsh in a way to Liverpool fans because I was saying that, why would they be satisfied with the lack of ambition Rodgers is showing because, as I said, this is the 14th of July for me, 15th of July, so anything could have happened by now. Liverpool could have signed one or two big players, I don't know. But from what I've been reading from the journalists and the paper talk, the signings Liverpool have been looking at and the signings they've made so far have been players that aren't really experienced and what you'll consider top players. The three players I can think they've signed so far, I'm probably missing one or two here, but the three players they've signed so far are Ricky Lambert, Adam Lallana, and Emre Can. And, obviously, Lambert is the out-and-out striker of those three. But obviously he's not, a European experienced striker. And, the players they're currently interested in, the one right now seems to be the cert they're going to sign is Markovic of Benfica. And yeah, sure, he's had experience with Benfica in the European level, but he's not like how do I say this? Like a worldwide recognised figure like Suarez is. And I feel as though if Liverpool want to stay in the Champions League, they need to look at signing a player who is that big name, because Suarez is one of those big names in world football. They need to sign someone like that, someone like, I'm not saying he would definitely be interested, but someone like Higuain, someone like Cavani, And, the fact they're going for Markovic. And yeah, I love the fact Rodgers is looking at young talent. I think that's really, really cool. And I like the fact he goes in for homegrown players every now and then. Obviously like Lambert and Lallana. But at the end of the day, if you want to stay in the Champions League and you want to stay as a top four club, you've got to sign those big names. You really do. And I'd say that's a bit of a worry for Liverpool. They're not actually showing that ambition. And like I said, keep in mind this is the 15th of July for me. Anything could happen by now. And hopefully I am proved wrong. And hopefully they have signed a big player by the time this video goes live. But as things stand, it doesn't seem as though they're showing the ambition that if you're a Liverpool fan, what a save, Lloyd. If you're a Liverpool fan, if I was a Liverpool fan, I'd be annoyed that, 75 million for Suarez, and currently I'm not really seeing any kind of, I tried to hit that to the edge of the area and I completely messed it up. I'm not seeing any kind of evidence that we are going to be, if I was a Liverpool fan, that we are going to be spending that on a big worldwide name. But even so, there's still a long way to go in the summer transfer window, and obviously there's still quite a lot of money to be spent, and, hopefully by the time this video goes up, they would have actually looked at someone that is a worldwide name, but we'll have to wait and see. But so that's my opinion on it. But there you go. And again, don't take my opinions to heart, because obviously I am wrong 99% of the time. And there you go. Oh, hello. Bit of a calamity. Oh, no, I tried to fake shot. I want a corner even so. Phil Jefforskin says, what's been your biggest regret and proudest moment in your life? Biggest regret, again, I won't go into it, but I've mentioned it before, it was just not talking to my parents when I was growing up about you know, what was going through my mind, I guess, just being a very weird person, yeah, if you will. I was a very closed off teenager, and had I not been so closed off, those issues may have not got the better of me, and I'd still have a relationship with my parents, one would assume, and unfortunately I don't have that, so that's, oh wow, what a chance, he's free in the area, oh, Neuer again! Jesus, yeah, I'd have a relationship with my parents and my family in general, and I'd probably be a lot happier. But as for proudest moment, when I read this comment earlier, I can't remember what I answered in the first attempt to doing this live commentary, but I didn't really think of one in general. I think it's just a collection of mini things I've done, I guess. Like, you know, for example, you know, for me on Monday, I brought a homeless man breakfast, you know. He looked famished, and I went to a cafe, and I brought him breakfast. I brought him an English breakfast. He had a cup of coffee as well. I had a Diet Coke, and I sat with him. And, you know, those are the sort of things I do, you know, not every single week, obviously, or I'll be skint. But, you know, those are the things I do on a, you know, quite regular basis. And it's those type of things which, you know, I'm not someone who's egotistical, and I do it for the kind of, you know, the self-awareness that I need to clarify that I'm a good person. But those are the type of things where I sit there and say, you know, for example, you know, some people would say that's something you should be proud of, doing something quite nice like that. And I never sit there and think that. I just think, well, you know, I'm doing it because he needs it, kind of thing. £7.50 to me is nothing. To him, it could be his whole week. Oh, wow. He's put it wide. You know, but I guess when you do look at on the grand scheme of things, those are the type of things you can sort of sit back and say, do you know what? I know I'm a nice person because I do those things, you know. Just out of the goodness of your own heart. But as for, you know, just having an individual proud moment, I couldn't really pinpoint one. So I guess you just have to look at a collection of those things and just say, yeah, I just group them all together and use those as examples to clarify that I am not a horrible human being like some people think I am on YouTube. Next question comes from Slim Shady. I'm not sure if he's the real Slim Shady or not, because I can't tell whether he's standing up. But he says, when did you start liking football? What age and what were the circumstances? When I was growing up, I was quite a weird child, which is why I'm probably a weird adult. When I was growing up, my main interests in my very, very early years were, you know, girly things, really. I was really into girl stuff, particularly playing with my cousin's Barbie dolls and so on and so forth. I was never really that interested in sports to begin with. However, when I got to the age of about 6, I got involved in school, in what you consider infant school, I guess, or elementary school. I can't remember what the actual term is for the junior sort of level. I got involved playing football, and oh wow, Neuer, Jesus! I got involved playing football, and I found it really fun. You know, just kicking a ball around, and you know, oh gee, there's been quite a few chances in this first half, despite still being 0-0. Well, I'm kind of annoyed because in my first live commentary I was 2-0 up at half time. Yeah, I got involved, and I found it really enjoyable. And my closest friend, who I've known since that age, about 6, 7 years old, me and him played football together in the same team. And his dad was the manager of our junior team, if you will, our junior football team, and my dad was the assistant manager. And although those two people, or those three people, if you will, my dad, my closest friend, and his dad, they weren't the people who sort of initially got me into football. Those were the people that kept me in football, if you know what I mean. You know, as soon as I started playing, you know, again, my friend's dad was the manager of the team. My dad was the assistant manager, and together, me and my closest friend sort of stayed closest friend because of that, and we're still closest friends to this day. And we stayed involved because of our parents and our fathers, you know, running the team. And they ran the team until the age of about, 12 years old. But even when they stopped running the team, we still stayed playing football together, you know. So I guess the answer to the question is, initially I got involved due to just playing at school. But my dad and my closest friend and his dad are the reasons why I stayed involved. And I really enjoyed it. And what can I say? And my friend was absolutely amazing at football when he was a youngster. He really was, and even in his teens, he was really amazing. I think with the right coaching, my friend probably would be a professional footballer right now. And I'm not saying, you know, Champions League level. Answering, my friend plays as a striker as well, so maybe not answering Liverpool's problems like I talked about earlier. Maybe he's not currently at that level, but you know, he was someone who I think he could have gone pro if he had the right coaching. But even so. Yeah, that was how I got into football, I guess. And the first football game I went to was Wycombe Wanderers when I was about 7 years old. And yeah, my dad, me, and my brother went, and it was kind of fun. I still can't believe there's been no goals so far. There's been a lot of chances in this game, but even so, what a challenge that is, Ginter. That was inch perfect, right at the death. I need to get the ball on the ground because I've given the ball away quite a bit in this game. So let's switch to. Oh, I always used the wrong one. Let's switch to possession and just try and pass the ball around a little bit, not concede possession, and give the ball away like I almost did there. Next question comes from James Butler. He says, who deserved the best player in the World Cup award? I would have given it to James Rodriguez, personally. However, I understand why he wasn't given the award. I would love to have seen him given the award, because obviously, you know, as a neutral in that tournament, I was, you know, half supporting Colombia because of my bet. But I would have liked to see Rodriguez being given it. But I think the reason Rodriguez wasn't given the Best Player of the Tournament award was because he got to the quarterfinals and then got knocked out. And I think it's hard to justify getting to the quarterfinals of the competition and playing no further part, yet winning Player of the whole tournament. You know, so I think that's why Rodriguez didn't win Player of the Tournament. Having said that, I still wouldn't have chosen Messi afterwards, even if we couldn't consider Rodriguez. I probably would have given it to Thomas Müller. I don't think Messi winning the award is so far-fetched, personally, because I don't think he had a terrible tournament, although I am still a little bit surprised. But I still think as though the amount of abuse, if you will, he got just for winning the best player of the tournament was kind of harsh, because he didn't have a bad tournament or anything. And yes, he missed a really good chance in the final, but he didn't have a bad tournament, and there were quite a few games when he was really the only player for Argentina, or one of the very few players for Argentina who looked like getting the goals that they so sorely needed. The game against Iran was a classic example of that. He bailed them out in the last seconds. Although personally, like I said, I would have given it to Müller myself, or possibly at a stretch Mascherano, but probably Müller myself. But there you go. Andrea, also known as Mr. Italiano in USA, says, how do you feel racism should be kicked out of football if you do want it kicked out? Well, contrary to popular belief, I'm not a racist. So of course I'd want racism to play no further part in football, but unfortunately it's just one of those things that will never go away. Racism, although we do a good job of stamping down on it, is still a prominent thing in football, and it's still something which every single club has racist fans. And you go to a game and chances are you'll probably hear one piece of racial abuse at that game from someone in the stand, because that's unfortunately how football is. Every single club has terrible, terrible fans. They really do. And my club is no exception. Millwall are notoriously known for having terrible fans, but every club has terrible fans that are racist, homophobic, transphobic, and everything under the sun. So yeah, you're never going to get rid of racism. But in my opinion, the best way to sort of crank down on it, if you will, stamp down on it, is to do what seems to be currently the norm right now. That is stadium bans. That is public name and shaming. And that is swift working with the authorities and making it clear every single occasion that these are not the ideologies that your club represent. So yeah, I mean, our club, for example, is a prime example. You know, we get highlighted for racial abuse all the time, despite the fact that we do a really good job working with the police and the correct authorities to try and stamp down on it. You know, so yeah, I think the best way to deal with it is, like I said, public name and shame, stadium bans, and distancing yourselves as a club and as an organisation from those individuals, and making it clear that they do not represent what your club is all about, which, you know, for every club is obviously racial equality. Next question comes from Jake White. He says, what would you pay for a system, this guy's a long-term sub, isn't he, a Newcastle fan. He says, what would you pay for a system where Xbox can play versus PlayStation players? What? I thought it was my throw-in. I was answering a question and I just realised that they threw the ball into play. Alright, the question is, you know, how much would you pay for a system where Xbox players can play against PlayStation players? And the answer to that... Oh no! Oh, he missed the header! I called that, I knew that was going to be a free header and he missed it. Jesus. Yeah, how much should I pay? The answer is, I feel as though this is something which... should be being worked on, in my opinion, because cross-platform gaming is, in my opinion, it is a really, really big future thing. And I really do feel as though both companies, you know, obviously the big two for gaming consoles is Sony and Microsoft. And if you want, you know, Nintendo, throw them into the mix if you want. But, you know, let's be honest, it's mainly Sony and Microsoft. You know, I feel as though those two companies should be looking at, Neuer is having a great game, should be looking at the potential of working together in the future. And the reason I believe that is because so many kids in school will buy the console of their friends' choices, and for me it was similar, although in school, again, I've talked about it before, I never really belonged to one group. I was sort of a jack of all trades, master of none, in one group and in the other, but not really sort of embedded in the groups. For me, quite a lot of my friends had Xboxes, but also quite a lot of my friends had PlayStations. So the reason I chose PlayStation was because I tend to hang out more with those that played on PlayStation. So that's why, even though I was a PlayStation user since I was a kid and I never really wanted to change, that's why I knew for a fact I would never change to Xbox, because all my friends played PlayStation. And that's the same reason why quite a lot of my friends also played PlayStation, because I know one of them owned an Xbox and they got an Xbox 360 primarily because all of us in our group played on PlayStation, you know. So I definitely feel as though cross-platform gaming is something that they should be looked to both companies should look towards doing in the future, because I feel as though it's definitely something which would benefit them in the long run, because if everyone could play against each other, it wouldn't matter what console they buy. They would know that, you know, it would just be about personal preference, and as things stand, that's what it is anyway, personal preference, you know. It's just some people avoid not buying Microsoft consoles, or... Oh, he's hit the post! And it's turned in. Oh man, 1-0 down with 6 minutes to go. I thought we were going to get the ball away there. You know, some people turn it down because... Some people turn down the console of their choice because they want to play what their friends are on. So cross-platform gaming, in my opinion, would be a great thing. And I think a lot of people would pay quite a bit of money for it as well, just so they could play on their platform of choice. Donald McTaggart says, what players would you try and sign if you're a manager in Millwall? If I was Holloway, I would definitely be looking at a young player on loan, particularly in the striker area. Who exactly, I don't know. But we have signed Lee Gregory, who comes from Halifax. He was a non-league player, and apparently had a very good scoring record in the non-league, so I'm excited for that. But yeah, I trust Holloway. I trust Holloway to make good deals. You know, I really do. So you know, personally, I don't know exactly who I would choose, but I do trust Holloway, and hopefully he does get the best out of our players. Look at these stats, man. We've been doing just as well as them, if not better. I'm kind of annoyed that we conceded so late on. Right, if we want to get ourselves back into this final, we've got to make a big change, but I don't really know who to bring on. Sometimes I like to put a winger at fullback, so I'm going to put Schürrle at right back. And although he can't really play there, just to whip in crosses to Lasogga, we'll bring on Volland. And do you know what? We're going to go really attacking, because we're 1-0 down the Champions League final. We have to. Yep. We're going to go really attacking here. This could backfire on us. We could concede another goal before the full time. We need to get a goal, so we may as well risk it now. It's all or nothing. Next question comes from David Patterson. He says, what was the favourite subject you had at school? Probably physical education, because it was the only one I did well in. Yeah, that was the only A I got in school, was physical education, so I'd go with that. Physical education, probably the funnest thing I did, and there you go. Oh, Lasogga! Instant reply! Instant reply! Oh, what a fantastic tactical change as well. That was Schürrle that crossed it in from right back. Instant reply! Or was it Herman, actually? Oh, it was Herman. Well, he just came off the bench, so even so. Instant reply, Lasogga. He spent 6 months in Madrid, scores the goal that will surely send us into extra time. That was perfect. I feel like a god for that quick tactical change. Oh man, so yeah, physical education is the answer to that question. But I also enjoyed certain things like drama. That was kind of fun, and even English wasn't bad. But physical education, in my opinion, was probably the best thing I did. Instant reply. The only bad thing about this is we have got quite a lot of attacking players out there now, and we could be quite weak defensively. But if we can hold on to extra time, then I'll think about making a change there. What I might do actually is put Herman at right back, because actually no, I'll leave Schürrle there for the time being. It's Sam at left back. That's my biggest worry. I think I might have to bring on Schultz. because he's a left back, and just take off Sydney Sam. Next question, well, I'll get to it in just a moment, but I don't particularly want to concede directly after scoring. Oh, Ronaldo going for the advanced rainbow in career mode offline. Next question comes from Ross O'Malley, and he says, what was the first video game you played? The first video game I played would have been probably Crash Bandicoot on the PS1. Do you know what? No, it wouldn't have been. It would have been something on a Nintendo. No, not Nintendo. Well, Nintendo. Sega. It would have been something on a Sega Mega Drive. Not sure exactly, although I did have a Mickey Mouse game for that, and that would have been the first video game I ever played. But yeah, you know, my early experiences in gaming were obviously Sega. God, Sega. None of you, or well, very few of you will probably be old enough to have owned something like a Sega Mega Drive. You guys don't know what it was like. Yeah, something on a Sega, or my old Game Boys. The Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, playing Pokemon. I've got some embarrassing stories about those, but so yeah, something like that. Oh, I got into extra time. What a fantastic change that was. I feel like a god for that. Yeah, and yeah, probably Crash Bandicoot though. That would have been one of the first things I can think of anyway. And Actua Club Soccer. Oh my god, Actua Soccer Club Edition. Actua Soccer Club Edition. After this video, I'm gonna research some gameplay for that. Jesus Christ, now that was a good game. Commentary for that was on point. Good old Motti. Yeah, some serious reminiscing going on here. You guys probably won't be old enough to think about it with me, but there you go. Anyway, I'm not going to spend too long on this question because I'll just go on about it all again. But yeah, things like the Sega Mega Drive and Crash Bandicoot for the PS1 and things like that. When I was about 8 years old, I remember me and my brother going down early at like 6 in the morning to play Tony Hawk skateboarding on the PlayStation 1, on the chipped PlayStation 1. Dale DeBack says, do you think career mode was better on FIFA 13 than it is on FIFA 14? Yeah, definitely. Oh man, we've lost Reinhardt. I wanted to bring Reinhardt on and he's gone. For goodness sake, this is the Champions League final and he's left my bench. I wanted to bring Reinhardt off the bench and he's left my bench. I wanted to bring him on for defensive cover and he's left my bench. Are you serious, game? He's nipped round the back of the stadium for a cigarette. Seriously, mate, it's the Champions League final. I need you back. Oh man, he's pulled a Jason Puncheon or something. I can't believe this. I'm going to have to leave it as it is because I wanted to bring on Reinhardt. Oh man, yeah, definitely. Career mode was a lot better in FIFA 13. To be honest, back then, well, I say back then, it was only a year ago, Jesus. It was so much easier to create more dramatic career modes, and I say dramatic, I mean more entertaining career modes, because youth players are nowhere near as good as they were, and I know they don't suit everyone, but when you're a YouTuber, it's kind of frustrating knowing you're probably buying the exact same players as other YouTubers. Oh, Ter Stegen, you've got to get there, man, seriously. You know, so it's kind of frustrating knowing that I've probably got, do you know what, MGH is running a Schalke career mode right now, and I can guarantee he's probably got 2 or 3 of the same players as I do in his first 11, and, you know, at the end of the day, it's kind of frustrating because there's not enough variety, you know, and last year there were youth players, and so in my teams I had players like Marcano and Chevalier and De Rochefonte and Richard Gape and El Qatari and players like that who, you know, anyone who's been a long-term sub will know who I'm talking about. You know, there were youth players that they were good enough to be in the first team. In my Millwall career, we're 10 years down the line, and I think there's only 1 or 2 new gen or regens that are even in my first 11. You know, and it's ridiculous how the case now in career mode is that you've got to sign the big high potential youngsters because new gens and regens are severely toned down, and that's just one of the factors. Things like the global transfer network have completely ruined career mode for so many people. So, you know, in my opinion, yeah, definitely, like, career mode is nowhere near as good as it was last year, and I hope EA have learnt their lesson, you know. The global transfer network and sort of individual scouting for real players was a good thing in hindsight, but it clearly wasn't in the end. You know, it was a good thing. It was a good thing prior to actually doing it. It was a good initial thought, but it clearly didn't work out the way they wanted it to. So, yeah, hopefully next year they've learned their lesson and they'll make it optional or they'll tone it down a little bit. You know, but even so, oh, I can't believe it, man. Oh, we're gonna go 3-1 down. We've capitulated in the the final of extra time, the extra time of the final. Was that Carvajal, the right back? Jesus Christ, I've capitulated. Oh man, and do you know what as well? I mentioned it. It was the fact I didn't take off Sydney Sam. because those came from Gareth Bale down the right hand side. Oh man, there's still a chance to get back into this final, but oh man, even so, if nothing else, you've seen a very entertaining game. Next question comes from Faz. He says, thoughts on Sanchez to Arsenal? How will it impact Ozil and who spent the season? And how will it impact Ozil who spent the season without Walker and the Oxlade-Chamberlain at times? Yeah, I agree with this. The amount of hate Ozil got for the second half of the season was quite frustrating because although I do really like Ozil, and I am a neutral, I'm not an Arsenal fan or an Arsenal hater, I was quite frustrated. We need to make another attacking change because we've got no one else to bring on. We'll have to leave it as it is for the time being. I was quite frustrated to know that the amount of hate he got was quite annoying because the players he worked with were not the same as in the first half. Of course, Walcott got injured for the majority of the second half of the season, and of course he was having a decent first half of the season. And you know, I'm not saying if Walcott would have stayed fit, Ozil would have had an amazing season, but it certainly impacted his year. And you know, I think with Sanchez coming in, Sanchez is that world-class caliber player that could really benefit Ozil, you know, and I feel like next year we could see him get off to a really good start again, and I'm really pleased Sanchez has joined Arsenal, because I'm a fan of his. I think he's a really great player. I think Arsenal got an amazing deal for £30 million, and I'm sure he would do well there, and I'm pleased for Sanchez as much as Arsenal fans, and yeah, hopefully it will have a positive impact on Ozil as well, but we'll have to wait and see. Come on, Kevin Volland! Volland! Oh, he's going to be onto his... Oh, yes! No, Neuer! He just about got a shot away and then Neuer saves it. This guy has been insane. Absolutely insane. If I lose this Champions League final, it's partly due to my defending, but majority due to the fact that Neuer has been an absolute god. How many saves has he made? Seriously. Come on, there's still a chance. If I can get one goal before half-time, I reckon I could pull it back. William Carvalho, oh god. There's still a chance, man. I'm not giving up on this final yet. No matter what happens, we've had a great season, you know, Bundesliga winners, German Cup winners, Champions League finalists, but I really do want to win a treble. That would be amazing. There's still a chance, but I'm worried I'm going to concede a fourth goal. Get there. Herman, come on now. This is your moment. And then you just did that. Next question comes from Nick Porter. He says, what is something you really like to do before you die? I don't really know. Do you know, when I get asked those questions, like what's on your bucket list and so on, I did actually do a commentary about my bucket list in my FIFA 12 Road to Glory series, but I never really explained what was on it because it was quite private for me. So when I get asked these questions like, oh, what's one thing you'd love to do before you die, or you have to, someplace you have to visit, how has William Carvalho Neuer saved that again? Are you serious? You're the best goalkeeper in the world and I love you and everything, but even so, that's crazy. Yeah, I never really know what to say because, Jesus Christ, I never really know what to say because usually the things I really want to do are quite private, and there aren't too many things that I'm sort of desperate to do, like skydiving, for example, or trips around the world. They don't really appeal to me that much, you know, so I don't actually really know on the grand scheme of things what I would have to do, what I'm desperate to do before I die, other than a few things which are really private to me. Yeah, but I don't really know, to be honest. I can't really answer that question. This is mental. Look at this, man. If nothing else, man, this has been a great game. If nothing else, it's been a really great game. Anyway, sorry to Nick that I can't really answer the question in full, but obviously quite a few things are private, and I don't really have the answers to what you'd like me to suggest, because, as I said, things like skydiving aren't that interested to me. I don't know what to do, man, because even if I bring on Schultz, who do I take off? All of my players are attacking right now, you know? Could possibly go... We have to throw everyone on. So, I think I'm going to go 3-5-2. No, because we've got 4 wingers on the pitch right now. Let's go 3-4-3 diamond. I'm going to play William Carvalho at centre-half. And I'm going to play Herman on the right, Sam on the left, because we need to cross the ball in a bit. Royce on the left. Volland on the right to cut into his left. But who do I take off? Goretzka. Yes, 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 yes. That's a good change. Right. So, the reason I'm not going to put Sam up there because he's dead, I need some actual pace on the front three. So, that's what I'm going to do. Schürrle at CDM. I mean, I'm all over the shop right now, but I got no choice, really, do I? I got no choice. Right, okay. Next question comes from. I don't think we're going to be able to get into the game, but to be honest, we've had so many chances, and Neuer's just been insane. Anyway, next question comes from Eric Oxam. He says, "How old are you?" I'm 21. I'm 21. Next question comes from. Are we 22 in November? Next question comes from Billy. He says, "What makes you such a What makes you such a positive person, even when times are bad?" I'm not really positive in the slightest. I'm a very pessimistic person, I'm afraid. But every now and then I do have shades of positivity, and usually it's just, I don't know, I draw a lot of strength from the people closest to me, I guess. I guess that's why I am quite pessimistic, because I have too many people close to me. But my grandmother, for example, is quite an inspirational figure to me. And she's someone who I try and make myself a more positive person for her, if you know what I mean. I'm not going to get into it, but with my grandmother, I'd say she's one of the very few people that I really do actually want to actually sort of live by, if you know what I mean. And yeah, she's definitely someone who I try and get more positive. Try and make myself more positive. You know, not just for my benefit, but for hers as well. Yes, Lusoga, come on, 3-2. There is still a chance. Callum says, what a final. Callum says, and this is when I find out my microphone's turned off. Would you compromise some of your moral values in order to work YouTube full time? For example, promoting coin sponsors and doing wages. Definitely not the latter. I will never do wages, and I will never do pink slips, because, as I've said before, you know, every now and then I might do something sort of like for fun. Maybe one day in the future I might do something like that for fun, like for example, playing against a YouTuber and. Or would I do that? I don't know, but I'd never actually do like a proper wager, for example. You know, like a real wager anyway. Maybe something like a forfeit FIFA challenge. I know Road to Shore used to do that, or I don't know if he still does. Maybe something like a forfeit FIFA, just for fun, but never like a proper wager which encourages gambling. So I'd never do something like that. You know, I'm someone who doesn't really have a lot in their life. I'm not going to say quite unfortunate, because I am very, very grateful for everything I've ever had, and I still do have. But I don't have too much to sit there and say, yeah, this is, great. So I don't really have too much in my possession, if you know what I mean. But I'm someone who does have a lot of morals, and I stand by those morals ever since I sort of, gained them, if you know what I mean. So I'd never compromise those in order for fame. You know, if someone said to me I could have 500,000 subscribers if it meant I encouraged gambling, doing wagers, encouraging kids to gamble and so on. Again, that's just my way of looking at it, by the way. That's not what other YouTubers think, and they shouldn't think that either. It's just my way of thinking of it. So I'm not saying wages are bad, I'm just saying that's why I find them bad, and why I don't want to do them. Again, I don't say they're bad for other YouTubers, just in my case. But yeah, I'd never do that, because that's one of my sort of no's, if you know what I mean. That's something I just couldn't bring myself to do. Oh my god. But as for promoting coin sponsors, I'm not against coin sellers, by the way, guys. I'm not against coin sponsors at all. I just don't advertise them because it's not currently in my best interests. And the funny thing is, it probably is in my best interests, because I could probably make YouTube a full-time job if I did promote them, but I won't. But I'm not ever going to rule out the possibility of promoting coin sellers or coin sponsors. I wouldn't say they're against my morals, though. That's all I'll say. But yeah, the answer to the question, it's kind of a hard question to answer that one, because everyone's got different sets of morals, and everyone views things a different way, So from my opinion on wagers may be the complete opposite for someone else, and that's totally fine. Just for me, every time I sit there and think, if I was to do a wager and a pink slip, what message would I be sending out to the kids that watch my videos? That gambling is fun, that you guys should do it as well, So it's again, everyone's got different morals, but yet someone else could sit there and say, no, it sends out a good message of you want to be more entertaining and so on. So everyone's got different views on certain things. So it's a really hard question to answer that, and it's got a lot of different answers. But even so, am I going to get one more chance? Oh, maybe. Oh, Schultz, Lasoga. Oh no, it's gone wide. It's gone wide. I was so close. I didn't fancy Schultz to score it. Oh no. How close was that? That was inches. I was so close to equalising. Oh no. No. It's going to be the last attack of the game, isn't it? Oh. Oh, Schultz is getting a red card for that. Oh, no, he's not. Oh, it's all over. Is it all over? Is he blind full time? No, it's offside. There's still a chance. There's still a chance, but I need to keep the ball because if I give it away, it's all over. Schultz. Schultz. Not on your right, on your left. Schultz. Lusoga. No, Neuer. How good of a goalkeeper can you be? Oh, it's all over now. It's all over now. It is. There's the full-time whistle. Oh, my God. That is probably the greatest final I've ever played on career mode, and I've lost it. Oh, man. Oh, man. That was so... I mean, all through that final, I really do feel... Real Madrid had great chances, don't get me wrong, but I feel as though I deserved that. I really do. I really feel like I should have won that game. But Neuer, I tell you what, if that guy didn't win man of the match, I don't even know. I know Rooney scored twice. I know Lasogga scored twice. But if Neuer doesn't win man of the match for that performance, man, Jesus Christ. That's probably the best goalkeeper performance I've seen on career mode as well. That guy was an absolute animal. Oh, I'm gutted. I'm absolutely gutted. Real Madrid have won the Champions League. And we have to settle for a runners-up medal in our first ever CL final. But what a game though. If you guys haven't been satisfied with that in terms of gameplay, I don't know what else I can bring you because that was unbelievable. What a final. I'm devastated that I've lost it, but that was absolutely amazing. Oh man. That should be us up there. That should be Ginter holding that trophy, but at least we can hold our heads high and say we gave it our all. We were just unfortunately stopped by the big German wall. Oh man. Do you know what, next year I'm going to have to try and buy Manuel Neuer. Do a quick swap with Ter Stegen. Oh man. Because Ter Stegen was probably at fault for one of those goals as well. Oh man, what a final though. That was amazing. I'm so glad that it was a really good final. Yeah, I'm so devastated I lost. It's a really odd emotional feel right now. It's a real emotional kind of imbalance. Oh, look at that, man. 22 shots, 13 on target. Neuer was an absolute monster, and almost every single one came from inside the area. And 56 possession to their 44. I think both goalkeepers played well, but who won man of the match? If it wasn't Neuer, yeah, there you go. 7.9. 7.9 for Neuer. I don't think so. Flip those two numbers around, that's probably what he deserves. Jesus, what a game. Well, sorry guys, I am genuinely sorry that I didn't win the final. I do apologise for that, but if nothing else, I really hope you got your entertainment factor filled there, because I'm sure you did. What an epic final. And to end the episode off, what I'm going to do is show the final squad report of the season, and we've also got fees due for, yeah, here we go, these 4 players. So Dux, Werner, Zelalem and Jonathan Tah, and we're going to buy all of them. And the reason we're doing that is because all these players, you'll see it once we confirm contracts with them, all these players we're signing for under market value, and this is the importance of agreeing a future fee with your loan players, because if you like them, you can sometimes get them for under their market value, and even if you don't plan on using them, you can sell them on for a profit. So you can get what's considered, you can do like a bit of a real estate job, if you will. You can sell them on for more than you actually paid them for, even if you never plan on using them. So we're going to offer these guys contracts, and there's a real bad screech outside, sorry if you can hear that. And you'll see as well, once we've confirmed the contracts, okay, only Zelalem wasn't happy. So, yeah, we'll just give him, let's do 20 grand first, and sporadic. And yeah, what you'll see as well is, where are we? So for Jonathan Tah, it will say £1 million offered transfer sum, whereas he's valued £1.5 million. So that is a 500 grand saving. That's his market value. We're getting him for 500 grand cheaper than we should do. Marvin Dux, we're getting him for, what's that? Is that 550 grand cheaper than we should? And for Werner, we'll be getting him for £1.25 million cheaper. So it's a really good thing to do, future fees, because you can sometimes get them for less than they should go for, and Zelalem is going to be 300 grand cheaper. So there you go, those 4 players that came in, and like I said, Dux, for example, he's not a regular member of our squad, but the bin men are outside, that's really loud, but yeah, so like, Dux, for example, he's not ever going to be a regular member of our squad, but we could sell him on if we want to do so. And I'm just going to shut the top window real quick, because the bin men have come, and that is really, really loud. And hopefully you can't hear that. But yeah, what I'm going to do real quick is do the final squad report of the season. And here we go. And I'll also show you the stats as well. So again, look at this, man. Ter Stegen kept a clean sheet of almost 1 in 2. Yet he didn't go off a single rating. I mean, ridiculous. But here's a look at the stats of the players anyway. And you can see how they did this season. And yeah, as well, whilst I run you through this, I want to say this has been a really good season. Despite losing that Champions League final, it's been a really good season. We won the Bundesliga for the first ever time, we retained our German Cup, and we reached the Champions League final, and we only lost it narrowly on extra time. So at the end of the day, you know, it's been a good season despite that loss. And yes, it's a real kick in the teeth to end this way, but I'm still counting it as a very good season. And for those that ask when I'm going to be leaving Hertha Berlin, the answer is not until I won the Champions League. You know, I want to win the Champions League first, and once I've done that, then I'll consider leaving. But until I've won it, I want to stay. So there you go. So here's a quick look at the squad report. Again, if you want to take a look at the players individually, you can just pause the video whenever you like and take a look at them in depth. I should run past it quickly because I'll be running out of time. And yeah, there you go. So also as well, I'll do the budget real quick. The next episode, by the way, will be the what's it called? The Euros with the Netherlands. For those that forgot, we're currently managing Netherlands, and as you can see here, we're going to be in the Euros. And here's a look at our group. We've got Spain, oh god, Greece and Northern Ireland. Yeah, we can qualify from that. Maybe runners up, we can qualify from that. So yeah, in the next few days, and the next few advances, we'll be starting the Euros. So yeah, look forward to that. That'll be in the next episode, and there you go. So let's quickly adjust the budget, and there you go. So yeah, I'll actually quickly run you through the Netherlands team as well. Jesus, that is really loud. If you can hear that, I do apologise, but I'll quickly run you through the Netherlands team. What was I going to say? Yeah, this team is subject to change, by the way. These are the players I picked, but this team is subject to change, so I'm not actually going to run with this first 11 guaranteed. So this is the team currently, and these are the players I've got. And yeah, you'll be able to see the Euros in the next episode onwards. And yeah, I'm really excited to bring you it, because it will be my first national management task here in the career mode. So hopefully we can do well. And yeah, there you go. So what was one thing I really wanted to do before I ended? There's something I'm forgetting, but I can't think of what it is. So I think what I might do is just end the episode there. So yeah, as always guys, a big thank you for watching the video. I really hope you have enjoyed it. I know I'm forgetting something, so I'll just have to be annoyed at myself once I inevitably remember exactly what it is after the video ends. But as always guys, a big thank you for watching the video. I really hope you have enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed the episode, please do leave a like, because it is much appreciated, and it really does help my channel out. Jesus, that's loud. And yeah, I'll see you for the next episode of my Next Gen Career Mode very soon, which will of course be the Euros with the Netherlands.